Hypocrites and Strippers by Kim Yaged. Episode 1. I recently ran into an old high school acquaintance. To my surprise, this formerly semi-religious Jew revealed he'd converted to Christianity. "You know," he said, "going home and telling my parents I was a Christian was harder than it would have been to tell them I was gay." This made me pause. Do you really think gay is his standard harder than example? I mean, I can't see this going over too well at Christian coalition meetings. Or, as I suspected, had the story been tweaked especially for me, his current audience? But alas, I don't consider myself gay, or bi, or feminist even. So, unfortunately for him, he was tweaking for the wrong audience. If I had to break down and call myself something, I don't know what it would be. Queer? Not queer like odd as in, ooh, that's a queer idea. Or queer like fag as in, fucking queer. But queer, capital Q-U-E-E-R, as in the identity. And I don't mean sexual identity. Queer, capital Q-U-E-E-R, transcends sexuality into an ostracized realm all unto itself. So I was thinking about this conversation with my old high school acquaintance, and it kept gnawing at me. If he were raised Christian, would he have come to the same epiphany in reverse? I've been doing 20-some-odd years of Christianity. Let's see how this Jewish thing works. See what I mean? Seeking out the role of outcast as opposed to truly embodying queerness? I know it's very competitive of me, but I was damned if I was going to be out-queered by a converted conservative Christian. But here's where my trump card comes in. Define religion, define gender, define sexual preference, orientation, and persuasion. What happens when you go home and say, "Mom, I'm dating a stripper"? When you're queer and come out of the closet, there's a whole support system set up. Some magical counter in the sky that goes, ding! Yeah! One more for our side! When you come out as having a stripper girlfriend, Mom reproves you. Dad nods in agreement, but secretly has unimaginable admiration and esteem for you. If you're going to be a lesbo, do it right. And your brother asks, what part does she work at? Just out of curiosity, of course. The thing is, it makes no sense for parents to have such ill will towards strippers. I mean, Flashdance broke it all down for us, didn't it? Nude dancing for the likes of Johnny C., the scumbag club owner who kept trying to get into Jennifer Beals' skirt? No. Fucking Nick, the rich scumbag boss who's 15, 20 years older than her and has a hookup at the only ballet company in town? Yes. It's okay to work at Mobby's. Remember Mobby? The fat guy who was always shoving a hamburger down his throat? He's a nice guy. And besides, that type of dancing is art. Especially the part where Jennifer Beals dumps a bucket of water on herself. She is so hot, isn't she? And all the girls at the club got along so well. Sure, they joked and teased one another, but we all knew they'd be there for each other in a pinch. Talk about camaraderie, friendship, women coming together to help one another, sister to sister. Don't you want to be a stripper too? It really appealed to my feminist sensibilities. Did I say I wasn't a feminist? I lied. The truth is I am a feminist. Or I used to be at any rate. I know the day, the moment, the instant I ceased being a card-carrying feminist. It wasn't a smallish gentleman's club. I love euphemisms. My buddy May and I decided to forego the girl bar that night for this little enclave in Carteret because we heard a particular dancer was going to be there. Elizabeth. How to describe Elizabeth? For one, the name was all wrong. I don't know, maybe something like Velveteen would have been more fitting until you got to know her. Then she came across more like a Roxy or Carla. We walked in only moments before Elizabeth set. It was like something out of a movie. There were 2 stools at the bar waiting for us. The bartender greets us with our beers. The lights change, and out comes Elizabeth. She's in her platform boots and low-rise flare leggings that get me just the right way. And I'm reduced. She glides slowly, seductively, alluringly across the bar. May has her dollar out, waving fanatically. But Elizabeth steps over her, not even acknowledging. She doesn't use the pole or work the crowd. She just struts towards me, grabbing the brass bar overhead for leverage, bent knee, chest out, drilling her almond eyes through me with a gaze that seems to say, "This is going to be a night you'll never forget." I, like the rest of the men in the bar, know she's dancing only for me. She was Sappho, a goddess, a female Adonis towering above me. I, a mere supplicant. Only later would I learn she was actually trying to concentrate on not falling off the stage. No shoes. She struts past, glancing over me as she sidles up to one of her regulars, who slips her a 50 for the privilege of giving her a back rub. May gawks. Wow! I try not to stare as the men close in around her. Elizabeth's eyes find mine again momentarily, asking, "You really think you can handle this?" And I answer, "As long as I know you're coming home to me, I can handle anything." Lie number 1. Elizabeth takes the long way back to the dressing room. I watch her walk towards me, punctuating her arrival with the drag of an acrylic-wrapped nail across my thigh. "I have one more set." I nod as she drops her purse in my lap, the weight of it serving as a sexual conduit. May is ready to squeal. In fact, she does squeal. "You're going home with her?" May tries to high-five me, but I am not willing to go there. Besides, it's not that big of an accomplishment. Elizabeth and I have been dating for weeks. Maybe that wasn't the moment I lost my feminist card-carrying status. Maybe it was before that, at Roscoe's, my favorite boy bar in Chicago. I'd gone to the movies with my new friend Ellen and her girlfriend Alicia. Afterward, we hit the Mexican joint on Montrose. One too many margaritas later, Ellen's passed out, and Alicia turns to me like a woman long confined. "We're going out." This is how Alicia and I ended up pressed against one another amidst the throng of sweaty boys that makes Roscoe's so infamous. During one particularly tight squeeze, Alicia lassoed me with her tongue, and my lips proceeded to melt into hers in a way that defied all sense of social propriety. I'm not much into feminist theory. My feminism is more of the "fuck you, fuck your father, what the fuck" variety. But I don't think fucking your friend's live-in falls into the realm of socially acceptable behavior. But I've never lived in a co-op, so I could be wrong. You know, maybe it was even earlier than that. Maybe it was the very first time I kissed a woman that I lost my right to be a card-carrying feminist. The first time I pressed against a woman, gazed into her eyes, and dove for her soul. Truthfully, lesbians are innately incapable of being feminists by virtue of their desire to possess women, by virtue of their incestuous circle of lesbianic behavior, feeding off the loss of one for the personal gain of another. It's anti-woman. You know what all the fuss over dating a stripper is really about? One word: sex. Our society is puritanical, voyeuristic, and very jealous. Therefore, the knowledge one's dating a stripper is terribly tantalizing. And if you have access to the information, you want details. So here it is. The thing about having sex with a stripper is there's this whole performative aspect to it that's absolutely fabulous. First time Elizabeth took me home, she had this huge bed. It was a waterbed, and I'm prone to motion sickness, so the moment I walked in there, I was already thrown off my game. Then she comes with, "I like big dicks," and hands me this dildo the size of my arm. She takes sex very seriously, then looks at me as if to say, "I don't want to make love. I want to fuck you over." But do I heed her warning? No, not me. I'm too busy focusing on the dildo. I mean, I'm putting 110% into this thing. I fuck her on the left side of the bed. I fuck her on the right side of the bed. We swim to the top of the waterbed. Then I do the backstroke back down to the bottom. And all the while, I'm secretly fantasizing about those wristbands they give out on cruise ships to prevent motion sickness. Believe me, I have a whole new understanding of what it means to come full circle.